20 years old.
I don't know, just try my hardest just to do what I can for him.
Can you help her? I don't believe it, not one bit. If you looked up lie in the dictionary, your picture is next to it. And the worst part about it is now that the baby is not yours, see somebody like you.
Take me off child support, baby.
It's nothing to dance about, it's nothing to laugh about. Your future was on the line because of your bad decisions. Now you should be ashamed of yourself, not sitting around dancing.
Ahmad is in court to prove he is the father of 22-month-old Nave. When Day gave birth to Nave, Ahmad was thrilled at the prospect of being a father. So it shattered him when Day revealed that he was not Nave's father. It even hurt him more because Nave is his first child.
To be my first child, so I was overjoyed. She couldn't work, so what I did, I tried to do as best as a man that I could do.
And so you found out she was pregnant and you were excited because this was your very first child.
Yes. This was like my second chance, you know, to have a child. Now I come to find out that...
Poor man. He has come a long way, only to have what he adored so much taken away from him. Ahmad said he and Day had been in a relationship before this, but Day insisted it was just a friendship and that she had told him the baby might not be his.
I told him the truth from the beginning, that she might not be his. And he said he wanted to be her father.
Talk to me about the relationship from your point of view.
It was more of a friendship for me. I loved Mr. Ahmad, but I wasn't in love with him. It was just, he was there for me, and I needed somebody to be there for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, that began a whole ruckus between Ahmad and Day. It got to the point that Day started getting upset by the accusations.
Oh, you were in a relationship, you think you got a girlfriend.
Right.
You're saying now, Ms. Day, I really wasn't in love with Mr. Ahmad, but he was a good friend. We were having a sexual relationship.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then what happens with the relationship at that point?
She was at my residence.
That's not true. We didn't even get along that much. I was not at his house.
I mean, somebody just had to say it. Day repeatedly states that they had conflicts and arguments about the baby, often resulting in Ahmad kicking her out of his home. However, Ahmad denies these claims. Despite the judge repeatedly asking him if he was confident he had never heard Day tell him about another possible father, he continued to deny ever being told.
Just feel like
My intentions to find out the truth for this baby. Right.
She's calling it a friendship. On different pages, you all are in different books. And I don't mean it to be funny, because a lack of communication, I mean, it is always running as an undercurrent in paternity situations.
At this point, Judge Lorne was tired of their unmatching stories. She decided to switch the direction of the testimonies by asking them to tell the court about the day of Nave's birth. Regarding this story, the pair seemed to get the facts straight. There were no conflicting responses regarding Ahmad's presence that day.
You're saying you did not hear her say there was another possible father?
Never known another man. She's been...
That's not true.
I went to work. I disagree with that. I feel like you're trying to make me feel some kind of way, because if I was such a good friend, no, ma'am. That right there is a false statement.
How is that even possible? The judge needed clarification, so she contacted the hospital for more information. According to the hospital, it was confirmed that a man cannot sign a child's birth certificate without the knowledge of the baby's mother. You know what? Let's hear from the horse's mouth.
The entire time she was pregnant, I cut the umbilical cord, I signed the birth certificate. Matter of fact, her mother picked me up to go have when the baby, her own mother.
I asked him not to sign my baby's birth certificate until we get a DNA, and he did it anyway.
Sign a birth certificate?
I didn't let you. You did it on...
So if Day did not give the nurse Ahmad's name as her baby's father, how did Ahmad's name get on Nave's birth certificate? Well, we're about to find out now.
The hospital where Nevaeh was born, the procedure is when she is asked to fill out a form for the birth certificate, including cannot sign the birth certificate. Were you ever given the information card, but you did not put his name?
No, I did not, because he was there. The other person was not there.
So you gave the child his last name?
Another individual is involved. What's more troubling is that Day placed Ahmad on child support and has depended on him since Nave's birth. Given these circumstances, it's understandable that Ahmad believes he is Nave's father. Moreover, the court investigated Miss Day's social media and uncovered evidence that could contradict everything she's been claiming about not naming Ahmad as her child's father.
Mr. Ahmad, do you remember the nurse saying, "Are you the father of the child?" and you said yes?
We were at an the administration desk.
Drugged up, like I was.
Like demean you.
Why do you believe that?
Because she looks like his kid. She looks like him. She don't look like Mr. Ahmad at all anymore.
This is why they say the internet never forgets. Why, if not anything, that post was enough for Ahmad to conclude he is Navaya's father. However, Day disagreed, alleging that Ahmad had neglected Navaya for months. She mentioned that another man had taken over paternal responsibilities during this time. So who might this other potential father be?
Did a little investigation of your social media. Some very interesting posts.
Yes.
Is that Mr. Ahmad in the picture?
Yes, I said she looked like him at first, but she doesn't anymore. As she get older, she looked more like the other man.
You're affirming his belief.
Day has done a number on these men. The other man also appears quite perplexed. It's mind-boggling that she's kept them uncertain just to fulfill her desires. Initially, Ahmad was her friend supporting her, and now Mr. Flowers is her best friend, who is now possibly Navaya's father. At this point, Ahmad is dumbfounded.
Does this testimony surprise you, Mr. Ahmad?
I don't know this man. I'm out of this situation now, and my main deal is, what is the paternity of my baby?
Mr. Ahmad stepped up, and he was taking up the slack.
I never really forced that on him. He did all that on him.
After making both men think they could be Navaya's father, you now say they are involved by choice. I'm done with this. Everyone just needs to hear the DNA results so they can move on. Are you curious about the results? Let's find out.
Ahmad versus Day, pertaining to whether Mr. Ahmad or Mr. Flowers is the biological father of 22-month-old Nevaeh Ahmad. You all are going to have to return to your home state and try to get this taken care of. Mr. Ahmad, are you all right?
In this episode, the situation is quite messed up. Taylor had a sexual relationship with her mother's boyfriend, Mr. Shinuald. Now, she's in court to establish Mr. Shinuald, not the other man she was involved with, as the father of 3-month-old Zayden. The challenge is that Mr. Shinuald is denying paternity, despite Taylor's efforts to prove otherwise.
You admit you were intimate with your girlfriend's daughter. You say you strongly doubt you fathered her child. We'll meet her in a moment. In a sexual relationship with your girlfriend's daughter.
It started out as a text message, Your Honor. A few days later, she had on...
Shinuald's behavior is appalling, and it worsens with his shameless actions. His involvement with Taylor lasted about 6 months until Taylor's mother, Christine Bogardus, discovered their inappropriate relationship. How did Christine learn about this secret? Let's uncover that.
He had kind of manipulated both of us, saying that I told her about what we did and I never said anything, and she said that he told her about when she's not there, she left to go somewhere, sometimes when she's sleeping.
In her house?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's shocking. Christine caught Shinuald and her daughter during their sneaky meetups, not during the act. However, this discovery didn't lead to an immediate breakup. Christine was only angry with Shinuald for a few days. Meanwhile, Taylor discovered she was pregnant but was unsure of the father then.
It could have been 2 guys.
Which 2?
Mr. Shinuald and another guy. And I had to sneak out and go tell Mr. Shinuald.
You were honest?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Shinuald, I'm guessing at this point, hoping...
Actually, Your Honor, no.
That's quite absurd. At this point, the judge had to involve Taylor's mother, Christine. In court, Christine recounts her suspicions about her daughter and Shinuald and how long she had been aware of his questionable behavior. Here's what she shared.
Because my daughter was acting funny.
What was she acting like?
She would get up out of the chair across the room to sit by him.
Oh, no, she didn't. 10-month-old child, grandchild, who's also...
That's correct, Your Honor. We had originally met 20 years ago.
So you watched her grow up?
Yes, Your Honor. I also helped raise...
Chile, Shinuald's shameless behavior is unbelievable. This situation is already tough, especially since they are all living together. But the judge wasn't done yet. She had more questions for Shinuald and Taylor. After observing their responses and body language, she decided they needed a lie detector test.
We deal in scientific evidence here. So I want to know if both of you say, calm your wife-to-be's fears, and maybe this relationship could move forward like you want it to. How about you, ma'am?
No, Your Honor.
Anybody have anything to say?
No, Your Honor. I really don't have anything to say.
It's jarring that these two might still be sexually intimate given the circumstances. Nonetheless, the DNA test has been completed, and whether Shinuald is the father of Taylor's 3-month-old baby will soon be revealed. At this moment, Christine is probably the most anxious about the outcome. Let's see what the result says.
Results were prepared by DNA DNA diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Holthaus versus Shinuald, as it pertains to 3-month-old Zayden Holthaus, Mr. Shinuald, you are not.
It's good one issue is resolved, but Zayden might grow up fatherless as the other man won't take responsibility. Taylor, at 20, is left to raise her child alone. As Christine suggested, counseling would be beneficial, and I agree.
Do you think that we all need counseling?
20 years old.
I don't know, just try my hardest just to do what I can for him.
Her mother and I will try to help her.
Can you help her? I don't believe it, not one bit. If you looked up lie in the dictionary, your picture is next to it.
In this episode, Toyetta Williams claims that Adams is the biological father of her 3-year-old son. Adam denies it and is being represented by his mother, Tanya Adams, at the court. You may wonder why Adams isn't in court in person. Well, he is defaulted on child support and is currently in home confinement. In fact, his actions could lead to him serving jail time.
Your Honor, my son is now facing jail because of this situation.
This very moment, both of you.
True, Your Honor.
Mr. Adams?
No, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Williams, when you met Mr. Adams, did you intend this to be a committed relationship?
Well, besides that, Williams had several sexual partners while she was seeing Adams. This means there's a chance the child could belong to someone else. However, Williams stated that she never definitively said Adams was the father. She even attempted to persuade him to take a DNA test, but he refused.
I asked him twice to get the DNA test. He said, I'm hungover. He was giving me excuses, basically. So I took it upon myself to get help with the DNA test. It wasn't for no money at all. I said, I pay for the DNA test myself. You ain't got to come out of pocket. That part is not my fault. But
so take me back. I need to understand these details.
Oh, so that's how Adams got involved. Regarding his current home confinement for unpaid child support, Williams sought assistance for her baby from the state. When asked to name the potential father, she mentioned Adams's name. And since he failed to appear in court, he was automatically declared the father.
So you didn't show up that day and you were deemed the father by default. Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Tell me how you heard about all of this.
My daughter was kind of close to her. They worked together, and I overheard a conversation on the phone. I guess they were supposed to meet or whatever, and she must have met when she...
Since Williams denied ever saying that, Mrs. Adams told the court of another scenario. She stated that one time she went to the department store where she ran into a heavily pregnant Williams with a man who wasn't her son. So what happened during this encounter? Let's hear directly from the horse's mouth.
He was with a guy. She was around 9 months pregnant. And I asked her to sit down and talk to me.
So you don't remember this happening?
Matter of fact, I take that back. I wasn't 9 months pregnant. I was still in the middle of the pregnancy, and that's when I told you of when I was with my ex, and I thought, yes, I do.
Oh, Mrs. Adams is revealing a lot of secrets right now. However, Williams continues to deny all the accusations. She mentions that she now has a stable job and strives to be a better mother. Satisfied with Williams's statement, Judge Lauren decided it was time to hear Adams's side of the story. Let's see how that goes.
Was it your understanding that you may be the father or that you were the father? You didn't believe that?
No, Your Honor.
Why?
Because first off, she had already told me that the baby wasn't mine. Then she named the baby after her ex-boyfriend.
That would have caused Williams a lot of trouble, but Adams didn't have concrete evidence to prove his statements. Instead, Adams might be in trouble now, because the testimonies given afterward would all point to his carelessness. Take a look at this so you would understand what I'm saying.
One time that I couldn't go, I was hungover. I'm not gonna lie, you know. It wasn't being lazy or nothing. I really was hungover. All the other times that we scheduled dates, she was not present, nowhere to be found, probably off partying or anything, Your Honor.
And then you ultimately end up being on the hook.
Clearly, Mr. Adams did bring this upon himself. Now he owes so much money in child support for a child that has not been confirmed as his. However, the judge needed to know how exactly Adams found out that the court had already deemed him the father of Williams's son. Here's what he had to say.
At the beginning of this year, I started receiving paperwork telling me that I had to make payments of $99 per month.
Why wouldn't I want to show up to my own DNA test to get my son tested? Why wouldn't I? If I knew about it, I would have showed up.
So now the total total arrears are over $1,000. Just keeps escalating and escalating.
That's right, but that is not even the worst part. Adams has already spent time in jail for defaulting on child support payments. However, according to him, he was unaware that he was supposed to pay child support for any child, let alone that he owed around $1,000 in child support. So how did he discover this?
Basically, I was walking to the store to get some cigarettes. Police just ran our names. Now, I didn't even know I had a warrant.
And so all this is going on because you didn't make it to a DNA test because you were hungover?
Yes, if he just would have got up and got the DNA test when I asked him, we wouldn't even be going.
Know who the father of her child was from jump.
What a mess. These people don't need all this because what is done is done. All that's left is to find a way forward. Moving on, the judge examined pictures of the baby and Adams for similarities. Let's see how that goes, shall we?
Williams, as you look at Lil John, do you see Mr. Adams?
Just a little bit, but I mean, looks, like I say, it's a possibility. Looks don't mean something sometimes.
So, Ms. Williams, you submitted a picture of your child, baby John, and Mr. Adams about the same age. Do you see a resemblance?
No.
Anyway, I think we've had enough of that. What we need right now is an icebreaker, which in this case would come in the form of DNA test results. Is Adams truly baby John's biological father, or has he been in confinement for nothing all this while? Let's find out.
In the case of Adams v. Williams, pertaining to whether Mr. Adams is the father of 3-year-old John Jones, it has been determined that Mr. Adams is not the father.
Take me off child support, baby.
Mr. Adams?
Mckenny appears heartbroken in court as her husband, Brown, denies paternity of their 11-month-old daughter, Amira. Brown's doubts stem from seeing a clip of his wife being sexually intimate with Jonathan Fowler, so he thinks Amira might be Fowler's. Meanwhile, Judge Lauren asks Mckenny for her testimony, which she concludes in tears, hoping Amira is Brown's.
I just hope that he's the father of Amira Brown.
Hope that he is.
Yes.
So are you saying that you really don't know, but you truly hope?
Yes.
Okay, that's why we're here. Mr. Brown,
yes,
you do not believe you're Amira's biological father?
No, I do not.
Write the tape. It's wild to see a video of your wife intimate with another man. Even if the baby resembles you, that video could make you doubt paternity. However, Brown claims the baby doesn't look like him but resembles the other man. How did Brown even find the tape?
The girls, they like snatching her phone, so they grabbed her phone. Before they could even get to the video, I grabbed it and it pressed play, and I seen the beginning of the video and I didn't see what I liked, so I just disclosed it. I didn't watch the whole video.
The video came up or you went looking to see what was in her phone?
They were scrolling through her pictures, whatever. Before they could even get to it, I grabbed the phone.
Man, that's rough. It's pretty difficult to wrap your head around something like that. The judge wanted clarity on how the tape was created in the first place because it's one thing to cheat and it's another to record the action. Let's see what she has to say about it.
At the time, me and Mr. Brown was off and on.
How did you meet the other man?
I met him on a dating website. We started talking online, and then I finally met him in person, and he came to my house.
So how often were you sexually active with this man?
10 times.
And now, Mr. Brown, you believe...
Still has more to say, and of course, Judge Lauren has more questions for him. Given this, Jonathan was asked to give a quick rundown of how he met Mckenny. Here is what he said.
Met Miss McKinley I met her the ending of 2015 going to 2016.
So, this is my question. Sure. What did she say? Who did she say Mr. Brown was?
She never told me. She said that she just got out of a relationship and that it was done.
This situation keeps getting messier. When Mckenny's husband, Brown, learned of her pregnancy, he didn't initially doubt it was his. However, complications during Amira's birth made him question paternity. He even refused to sign the birth certificate because he felt like the baby didn't look like him.
That Amira, I said, hey, when I was born, I was pale. But wait, look at her lip. Why does her lip look so fat? That's not my lip. My lip does not look like that. Oh, no, it does not. So from that time in, I put it in my head, I'm like, wait, okay, if she's not mine, then she gotta be.
Brown is quite a character. The judge asks Jonathan when he last had sex with Mckenny, and he says a year before Amira's birth, ruling out paternity. So why did Mckenny claim he was the father? We're about to find out.
Why did you tell Mr. Fowler you were pregnant at all? If this had
I told both of them I was pregnant, but he didn't know I was pregnant before he found out.
But why? I mean, if it's over with him and it's done, why? If you hadn't been with him for an entire year, he's out of the picture. Why tell him you're pregnant?
Why the poker face when she's clearly at fault? As Brown mentioned, something's off. Despite Fowler's testimony ruling him out, Brown still doubts Amira's paternity due to McKinney's behavior. A DNA test is needed to clear this uncertainty. Let's see how that unfolds.
Case of McKinney versus Brown. When it comes 11-month-old Amira Brown, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Fowler, you are not the father, Mr. Brown.
Okay, I was like to say I apologize.
That eliminates Mr. Fowler as the father. The court also tested Brown's DNA to confirm paternity, a result that has everyone on the edge of their seats. It surprised McKinney when Judge Lauren asked for the next envelope from Court Officer Jerome.
I'm ready for the next envelope, please.
What next envelope?
This next envelope. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostic, and they read as follows. In the case of McKinney versus Brown, when it comes to 11-month-old Amira.
I didn't expect that twist. But what's causing her tears? Perhaps she hoped Brown was Amira's father despite having multiple partners around Amira's conception. It's a puzzling situation. Brown seems most surprised. After all, he hoped Amira would be his since Fowler was ruled out.
What are you feeling in this moment?
I'm actually shocked. Neither one of us is dead. I'm just like...
I need to ask you, do you know who her father is?
No.
Well, I need to ask this respectfully. How many other possibilities are there? Do you remember?